Straight ahead on 12 News, gunshots fired inside New Hope City Hall.
Get down. Everybody get down.
The response to the shooting.
2 officers were struck by the gunfire. Other officers were able to return fire.
And today, a look at the suspect police say carried out the act. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Johnson.
And I'm Alexandra Renslow. New Hope City Hall remains closed today following a turbulent Monday night in which 2 officers were shot and wounded.
The focus now is on this man, Raymond Kmetz. His son identified him as the suspect shot and killed by police. Kmetz was 68 years old.
We have multiple reporters looking at this story from several different angles. Cassie Bonstrom starts us off from New Hope City Hall with the latest on the investigation. Cassie?
Authorities are trying to figure out what caused the shooter to storm into City Hall on Monday night and target the 2 police officers. There are certainly more questions than answers at this point, but everyone is simply grateful that the 2 officers will make a full recovery.
The City Council meeting of January 26th to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
It was supposed to be a routine City Council meeting.
I solemnly swear.
As well as a swearing-in ceremony for 2 new officers.
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
But just after 7:15 outside the City Council chambers, gunshots rang out.
Get down. Everybody get down.
Council footage captured the ensuing chaos.
Get down, everyone get down.
Council member and licensed police officer John Elder was carrying his own weapon and told everyone to stay down.
If this is being taped, go to commercial. Go away from this.
We have shots fired in our City Hall.
At a press conference, officials said the shooting began just after the 2 new officers and their colleagues exited the chambers.
2 officers were struck by the gunfire. Other officers were able to return fire, subsequently killing the suspect.
Within minutes of the shooting, police from all over the Northwest Metro converged on City Hall. They assured everyone there that there was no further threat to the public.
We are not looking for any additional suspects at this time.
On Tuesday, media outlets identified the shooter as 68-year-old Raymond Kmetz, who court records show has a history of mental illness and run-ins with the law. For now, officials won't say what Kmetz's motive was. New Hope City Hall remained closed Tuesday with police tape and blue tarp blocking the crime scene. It appears the suspect, Raymond Kmetz, had ongoing issues with the city of New Hope. He tried unsuccessfully to sell his home to the city in 2008. He also filed lawsuits after being tasered and arrested by New Hope police officers. At this point, it's unclear what, if any, role these past incidents had in last night's shooting. We're hoping to have some more information in the coming days. Reporting live in New Hope, I'm Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News. Back to you, Mike and Alex.
Thank you, Cassie. At least one of the 2 officers injured had just been sworn in. Joshua Ernissi is seen here on the right, along with Adam Johnson. 12 News confirms Ernissi remains in fair condition at North Memorial Hospital. He came to New Hope from the Mason City, Iowa Police Department and is currently in the Air National Guard. The other unidentified wounded officer is also recovering. Both Johnson and Ernissi were walking out of the council chamber with those attending the ceremony when the shots were fired.
The shooting at New Hope City Hall raises the question of security at public buildings. It's a conversation that's likely to follow at cities throughout the area. The crime tape blocking access to New Hope City Hall calls attention to the line between public safety and open access at city meetings.
I've had some calls over time where people make threats to you as a public official.
The question of security is not a new one for Maple Grove Mayor Mark Stephenson, who served more than a decade in office.
You want to have it remain free and open to the public, but also at the same time you have to make sure it's safe for everybody to come to the meetings.
The Maple Grove City Council decided to have a police officer attend all of its meetings several years ago after an individual made threats at a meeting.
Just place anything metal inside the buckets, please.
In 2012, Hennepin County started weapons screenings at its suburban court facilities, including Brookdale, in response to a courthouse shooting in Grand Marais. The screenings are now a permanent fixture at a cost of several $100,000.
The security to run through to have people being checked for weapons is very expensive. And now do we have an open meeting that's closed?
Mylin Masson runs the law enforcement program at Hennepin Technical College, which trains about 500 new officers a year. She says the incident in New Hope is bound to prompt discussions between law enforcement and city officials.
We want to have our freedom to be able to have this openness, but There's always somebody out there who may cause us injury or problems.
It's a topic Maple Grove's mayor expects his council to revisit.
I think it's incumbent upon us to look at it and see, do we have to take additional measures?
The Maple Grove mayor says additional options they could consider include having another officer at city council meetings or implementing a pat-down or form of weapons screening. As you can imagine, lots of people are talking about the police shootings at New Hope City Hall.
12 News reporter Sonia Goins has reaction from people who live and work in the city. Sonia?
Now, Mike and Alex, there was mixed reaction to Monday's night's shooting. While some people told me they were not, surprised, others say they're not surprised that some people actually opened up and fired on the cops. Mountain Mud Espresso Cafe in New Hope was serving customers plenty of caffeine, but that wasn't the only thing giving people a jolt.
We've got customers coming in. Everybody wants to know what happened.
The shop is right down the street from the police department.
We have a lot of police officers that come into our shop daily.
Co-owner Nicole Fields says the news hits close to home.
They were targeting police officers, and I think that is not good. That's even scarier.
Monday night's shootings have left some customers with a pit in their stomach.
It's sad to hear that somebody would attack those that are risking their lives for us every day.
While the shootings are unsettling for some, others are not shocked.
When you look at the number of shootings that we've had in Minneapolis or across the country, and again, it's not surprising. It happens, suburbs, city, greater Minnesota.
People in the coffee shop are hoping the officers recover quickly and are back on the job soon.
We just have to stand by our police officers and pray that they're going to be okay through this and hope that this doesn't happen again.
Now, I did reach out to the mayor and other city officials, but no one returned my calls. Live in New Hope, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
All right, Sonia, thank you. Well, it was a busy morning for Plymouth police, who spent more than 2 hours today trying to track down a suspect.
That suspect had been pulled over for a traffic violation at the intersection of Lancaster and Pilgrim Lanes just after 5 this morning. Police determined the suspect's vehicle was stolen and the driver took off running. Plymouth police received help from a State Patrol helicopter and a New Hope canine to make the arrest. A Brooklyn Park man will spend 10 years in prison for leaving behind his children at the scene of a crash that left them severely injured. Earl Ward received the maximum sentence under sentencing guidelines. The criminal complaint says Ward had been drinking before he crashed into a construction hole in St. Paul. Ward fled the scene, leaving behind his daughter, who was paralyzed in the crash, and his son, who suffered a broken leg.
Osseo school officials testified before a House committee in St. Paul today, looking into school districts that are seeing progress in closing the achievement gap. The Education Finance Committee wanted to hear about strategies that are making a difference. Osseo says, among other things, lower suspension rates are leading to higher graduation rates. Superintendent Kate McGuire says it'll be difficult to reach the next level without help.
If we want all students to achieve at high levels, it's an intense, people-intensive business. We have got to have classroom teachers, counselors, administrators, and support staff on the ground.
Survey, 64%.
Other districts said it helped them to hire teachers with advanced degrees. Still ahead, healthy solutions to tackle weight loss, why limiting calories are not the best thing.
And then a little bit later in sports, the Wayzata Gymnastics team wins a conference title.
But first, is it really January? Wednesday will feel especially warm.
There is a popular belief that in order to lose weight, you have to cut calories.
But just how true is that statement? In today's Health Check, Elaine Cleveland explores the concept of reducing calorie intake and finds out what dietitians recommend.
It's not all about calories.
The local grocery store offers countless options of what to eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between. On a number of items in the center aisles, companies entice consumers with big, bold letters about how their products are low-calorie options.
We just have people ignore calories altogether.
But according to registered dietitian Brittany Thomas of Nutritional Weight and Wellness in Maple Grove, you actually need to eat more to lose weight.
What happens is when we restrict calories, our body will actually adapt and our metabolism slows down. So we're going to hang on to everything because we think that we're starving ourselves.
And begin. When people go with the eat less, exercise more approach to weight loss, Thomas says those results are poor and short-term at best.
If you're really tired of starving yourself and being hungry all day, at Nutritional Weight and Wellness, we teach how to feed your metabolism by eating those real fats, real proteins, and the real carbohydrates.
In the grocery store, she advises people to essentially ignore what's in the center aisle and shop the perimeter, stopping in the meat section and then loading up on fruits and veggies.
And here we have what a typical day might look like.
Thomas laid out several examples of foods that contain, quote, good calories.
So 3 hard-boiled eggs for breakfast, a piece of chicken for lunch, and then some deli meat for a snack.
She recommends incorporating avocados, olives, and coconut oil into your diet for healthy fats. And for dinner,
we have meatloaf for your protein, a nice big veggie salad with the greens.
Top that off with olive oil and balsamic vinaigrette, and you have a recipe for a healthy diet.
We recommend focusing on those real foods and ignoring the calories.
For Health Check, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
As for the question about portion size, dietitians recommend people eat meals with protein that are about the size of your palm. When it comes to snacks, the portion size should be about half that. Coming up, a Cooper student who can argue with the best of them.
But first in sports, the Armstrong boys basketball team is set for a big game later this week. John Jacobson has the details up next.
Well, I always say we have good basketball in the Northwest Metro, and part of the proof is in Armstrong's record, 14 wins.
And they're 2 losses to the top teams in the state. So, yeah, 3 of the top teams in the state Class 4A boys basketball poll are Northwest Suburban Conference teams from our viewing area, including number 4 Armstrong. As Jay Wilcox reports, the Falcons are ready for their next test.
The wins are piling up for Armstrong. They expected to have a very good team this winter, and that's proving to be true.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. We've been playing really good against a lot of good teams, and we're competing hard every night, and it's a fun team to play on.
I'm feeling really well right now. I mean, we've been working hard in practice every day, trying to get better, and then trying to get that goal, go to state tournament.
The Falcons' only losses are to number 3 Maple Grove and number 1 Champlain Park. That 3-point loss to a very good Champlain Park team a couple of weeks ago, a game Armstrong led at halftime by 11, was both frustrating and encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, it was discouraging that we didn't win because we led most of the game, and you want to close out games. But we said before the game going in, this is the kind of game that will prepare us for the playoffs when we have to go against Hopkins and Eden Prairie. It's a team that's at that level. And so our guys now know, I mean, if that's the best team in the state, we're definitely right up there with them.
After 2 winnable conference games this week, the Falcons take on Class 3A's top-ranked team, De La Salle, on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be a great challenge. It's a really good team, and they've won like back-to-back state championships. They're good.
We make our own schedules, so we put that on the schedule on purpose, wanted to have it at De La Salle in that environment. Against quickness, that's the most important thing. Our section is much quicker than our conference. Our conference has more rugged teams, but not as quick as the section that we play in. So we needed to schedule Minneapolis North and De La Salle, and we got Minnetonka.
It's the kind of challenge Armstrong needs to get ready for section play. Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
The Falcons host Coon Rapids Tuesday night, then play at Tutino Grace Friday, and the big matchup at 5:15 Saturday afternoon at De La Salle. Section gymnastics competitions are just over 2 weeks away. Wayzata is one team aiming for a trip to the state meet. Trojans won the Lake Conference title, beating the other 4 teams in dual meets, including Minnetonka last Friday. They've had some injuries so far, but are happy overall with the season.
I'd say it's tough. It's more tough mentally than physically, really, because I know that all the competitors really want to get out there, and so it's hard to just sit by and watch. But we're getting better. Our injuries are starting to heal, so I think we'll be good for sections in state this year.
We all try hard, and so we're happy all with it. But I think once the injured people get back in, we'll get our scores up more. So.
Wayzata won Section 6AA a year ago on their way to a third-place finish at state. This is a team that is confident they can win sections again.
I feel that we can. Don't count us out yet. We've got some skills in our pocket still that are going to come out pretty soon. They feed off each other, and that's what I like. They're coming together as a team, and they're their own unique individuals.
Wayzata competes at the Breck Invitational this Saturday. The Section 6AA meet is February 14th at Edina High School. Breck's boys hockey team came into the season without a seasoned goaltender. If that was a concern then, it isn't now. Jason Malillo profiles goalie Stephen Headrick on this week's Sports Jam show on Channel 12. Here's a clip from that story.
I definitely have noticed some of the kind of aches and pains, if you will, of playing game after game, but I realize I have to be prepared, and I mean, I may be pulled out at any time, but as long as I can prepare myself to the best of my ability for each game and help my team out as much as I can, I know that will hopefully become successful.
Headrick has worn the goalie pad since he was 6 years old. It was really the only place he ever wanted to be on the ice.
You watch the rest of that story and much more this week on Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 p.m. on Channel 12 and 12.tv. Another part of that story that Jason gets into, he's one of quadruplets, all four, two sisters and a brother that are all seniors at Breck School this year.
That sounds like a story in itself, right?
Yeah, right.
Thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, a Cooper freshman who beat the odds.
He's someone you don't want to argue with. We'll be right back.
And finally tonight we have a story where there is no debating. A Robbinsdale Cooper High School freshman knows how to make his point.
Yeah, his name is David Netcha, seen here holding the trophy. He's heading to the National Speech and Debate Tournament held in June in Dallas, Texas. Netches is joined in the photo by his coaches, Richard Brinson, Cheyenne Taboda, and Andrew Ervig. Netches is one of 8 Minnesota students, just 8, to qualify for nationals in Lincoln Douglas debate. You know, David said he learned to debate from having a brother 16 months older than him. They had to learn to argue over everything from toys to who's better at certain activities. And you know, that'll give you a certain amount of skill, right?
I was just going to say, siblings are great training for that.
That's right. Good luck, David. That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. Community Corner is coming up next.